Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Cousin Paul and Sandy's AOD driven GT40 street strip car and the issues that it has inside. And by simply changing a couple settings on the car could make for a big difference for them at the track. If you're curious about what I'm about to talk about, stick around, hit that like and subscribe, and let's get into it. What we have here is Cousin Paul's 1988 Ford LX 5.0 Mustang. For the most part, it's about as budget and about as efficient as you're gonna get. Stock bottom end, GT40 heads, GT40 intake, rockers, speed density car, so we can't put a camshaft in it, but it's pretty quick, it's fast, it makes a little bit of power. Yeah, you guys get the point. And it's also automatic. So before we get into too much detail, what's actually happening at the track is the car shifting at like 4,600 from first to second and just under 5,000 second to third. Now, being a dyno guy all the time and messing around with these cars on the street and on the track, I know that peak power, even in a stock bottom end motor, is around 53, 5,400. So you can't be shifting that early at the track and expect to get a decent time. So I'm pretty sure that I could shave several tenths off their times that they've been running in the car just by fooling with that TV cable and getting that AOD to shift where we want it to. All right, so for the most part, we're gonna go over here and we're gonna show you on this old AOD that we got sitting here. This is your TV cable. And the main issue that we're actually having is the fact that this is out of adjustment on Cousin Paul and Sandy's car. You can see how this works as we disconnected the cable. As the throttle body pulls on it, it pulls on this bracket back here. If this is out of adjustment, and that's why there's little lines right there, then that's gonna be, that's gonna not let the car shift where it's supposed to. So what we did on this is we actually learned. We actually know that we can take this clip, pull it back like that, take it out, okay? And then there's a little white lock right here. And the lock you push through on this side like this, and it allows this to move. See that? So what we're gonna do on Cousin Paul's car, we're gonna go out on the street. We're gonna go from a stop to, see where it shift at, and then we're gonna monkey with this and see if it makes a difference. Now you can see real quick how long this adjustment is, and I'm gonna show you on another AOD we got sitting over here. And you kind of get an idea how far off Cousin Paul's AOD. Now, he didn't mean it for it to be like that. As you know, we're always learning here at the shop. Now's the time to fix it. Pretty much same thing as the other side. You can see this is adjustment's a little bit different, and I would imagine that, every AOD would be a little bit different. So that's what we're trying to figure out today. As we're gonna actually go get in Cousin Paul's car, we're gonna take it down to the highway, and we're gonna go 0 to 60 or 65, 70 miles an hour wide open throttle to see if we can get this thing adjusted. So I wanted to mention really quick, if you can actually see in here, there's a little grommet that gets wore out over time. You actually see the TV cable actually struggle to stay straight in the grommet. See that, you can see Cousin Paul's out of adjustment so much that it's kind of leaning a lot. So what we want to try to do is we want to try to make this adjustment. Go ahead, Lego. We want to try to make this adjustment like the ones that we've seen there in the back. But first things first, we got to go for a ride. Cousin Paul's actually driving this time. So what we're actually going to try to get to work is to get the car to actually shift where I want it to at 6,000 or close to. Now, we all know that these clusters pretty much are a little bit off, so they're not going to be a perfect setup, but we're going to get to see firsthand how far off his adjustment actually is, and we're going to try to fix that. Go ahead.
This car ain't that fast.
I mean, I don't know. Being in the passenger seat kind of changes the game for me, man, a little bit. Go ahead, go here. So it always shifted pretty good on the street. What we're concerned about is wide open throttle when we hammer it down, because the peak power where this car is shifting at isn't being utilized like it should. So what's our goal for the adjustment is to get the car to shift 58, 59, 6,000 RPM under wide open throttle with the AOD. Yeah. All right, so we're getting here on the highway where we can go about 75. So he's gonna hammer down and I'm gonna video him hammering down because I wanna see where this thing shifts, and then we're gonna make an adjustment on the street here. Go ahead, hammer down. Shifted at 45 at second, third pretty much shifted at 5 grand. So we're gonna make an adjustment, see if it makes a difference. I hope you guys you know, enjoy videos like this. We're trying to learn ourselves really, because I'm not really an AOD guy. And I never really was an AOD guy, so you know, this is a learning process for me too. Let's go check it out. All right, so we had it hooked up, so what I'm gonna do is just pop it right out. And the cool thing about these little TV cables that actually Cousin Paul showed me, you can turn them and actually pull them out of the area. It's got like little slots or whatever. So I can make an adjustment by bringing it out here. So I'm pretty sure that it was almost as long as the end of this screwdriver. So what we'll do is we'll pop this pin out and lose it right in the frame rail. That's awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and unlock it. And then we're gonna move it forward quite a bit, where I think it looked like the ones over at the shop, right? We'll lock it down, check to make sure we got pull on it. We're going to put this clippy back in without losing it. Kind of more of a retainer thing, you know what I mean? It only goes in like one way. There you go. And then the little locky thing comes up, locks right into the accelerator cable. So we're gonna go ahead and put this up in here. Hope you guys can see this stuff. All right. So we did everything right. The car should shift at a different RPM. All right, we'll see if this adjustment actually made a difference. Let's hit the road, Jack. Cousin Paul be running those contour fans on a single relay at key on switch, and he doesn't get hot. It's 94 degrees right now in Ohio.
Yeah, just above 130.
Yeah. Jesus. 410s, yo.
No, 373 posi.
There we go. All right, let's hammer down, bro.
373.
We're gonna come to a stop right there at the end, make sure nobody's behind us. We're not gonna get above 75 or 80 mile an hour. One thing that's cool is Cousin Paul bought Sandy a draggy, so they're gonna be addicted to that little thing now. All right, go ahead, Paul, hammer down. All right, that's good. Changed the shit out of it, didn't it? It lowered it. So making it looser lowers it. We'll just make another adjustment. All right, so by loosening it, made it shift a lot earlier. Wide open throttle, quite a bit earlier. So what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna see how much room I have in there to make another adjustment. All right, fellas, we're underneath Cousin Paul's car here, and I think one of the major issues outside of the TV cable being an issue was the fact that his adjustment might be out. I got B on the phone here.
What's going on?
And you know, I had to call him because he just did the Carbon Fox, and you know, this is what brought this stuff all to my attention, like I told you earlier in the video. But you know, we're trying to get Cousin Paul and Sandy on down the track a little bit faster. Okay, go ahead, B, real quick.
So we were talking about the TV cable adjustment. I know everybody, you know, wants to put a gauge on these things, but sometimes that gauge doesn't work. That doesn't mean that the car is going to shift where you want it to just because you get the PSI correct. So a lot of times it's best just to adjust this thing by feel. There again, you know, me and you've talked about this many times. Just don't go too loose. Going too loose is what will burn it up. You can pretty much go as tight as you want to with it with no fear of damage to your transmission. So I just want to go ahead and clear that up. Yes, the books will tell you to put a gauge on it, and that's a good starting point. But for us, we're just trying to get this thing to ship where you want it to. But I think you pretty much adjusted that out, right?
Yeah, I got it all the way out. When we did make a hit where it was like loose, like factory setting loose, and we did make a hit on it, and you guys seen it, it went like, it shifted wide open throttle at like 3,200, whereas if it was all the way tight or all the way back, however you want to call the adjustment, it shifted at 46. But one of the other major issues that we had was the fact that I think this, and B said this to himself, is I think this, we can't get the car down in the first. So I think one of the major problems is the adjustment on this cable, right?
Yeah, should be just the adjustment on the cable, or either the linkage could be, you know, hitting the exhaust.
Right.
That's a common issue as well.
Right.
And also, if you're having trouble with your AOD shifter, a lot of times the actual T-handle portion of it will slide up on you, and your button won't depress like it needs to.
Oh yeah, click, like click, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Got
so
it.
A lot of times you have to hit the top of your T-handle pretty hard, and sometimes it'll allow it to go. But it sounds like you guys have an issue down on the adjustment cable.
Yeah,
It's not in the exhaust or anything.
No, it's clear the exhaust pretty good. Yeah, so that's where we're going to start it. B said that his adjustment on the Carbon Fox was kind of in the middle, and you can see on here Cousin Paul and Sandy's car, it's all the way to the back. So me and Cousin Paul are going to go ahead and loosen that up. We're going to go for another hit and see if we can't get this thing to go down in the first. So stay tuned. I appreciate you, B.
Yeah, man. Hey, if that doesn't work, man, just change that governor valve out and go to a lighter governor valve, and that should give you some more as well if you leave it in drive.
Perfect, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
I'll let you know what happens.
All right, man.
All right, I think we got it figured out. Outside of the TV cable, we want the TV cable and the line pressure to be as high up as we can get it to shift. But also doing the AOD shuffle is going to allow for the car to stay in first and second longer. As you've seen on Brutal's video, as he shared his knowledge on the street in Carbon Fox, so make sure you check that video out. But let me show you what we did and what the problems we had that's going to actually fix this car. So, you know, Smurf's car right here is, you know, been a budget build forever. So what we did was this bracket here was bent, allowing the cable, not only did we have a bad clip in the front of your cable, which will mess with your adjustment, and it'll also mess with the way your car shifts, but this bracket also was bent, and not that it's getting kind of flimsy for its age. So what I did was I hard mounted it right to the floor, and what we figured out with the adjustment on the shifter cable is that we're pretty sure we can AOD shuffle this now on the street, go from first to second, back to first, to hold it in second, and then let it do its thing. So we're gonna go out there and test our theory and see if we've fixed our issue. All right, so let's go for a ride and see if our fixes with Cousin Paul and Sandy's car is gonna work. We hooked her up with a draggy. She's gonna have a lot of fun with that thing. She likes to post a lot of social media, so she's gonna enjoy that for sure. And away we go. You know, guys, these cars have gotten to the age to where we're always tinkering with them at this point. It doesn't surprise me that we had to mess with that. We got a whole nother nice shifter over there as a core that we're ready to put in this, because I think Cousin Paul wants to mess with them, you know, put a different shifter cable in it eventually. Is that OD?
Yeah.
Okay. What I'd like to do, let's drive. Oh yeah, let's put it in first and see if that's what it does. Let's see if it stays in there and doesn't shift out. Let's see if it'll rev out. Now, our problem is it wasn't a TV cable adjustment. We actually had a clippy issue. We'll wait till we get down here a little bit further. I'm gonna try to AOD shuffle this. Now, the way Brutal explains it is if we go first to drive, it shifts to second, and we pop it down into first, it should stay in second and hold until we're ready for third. So, is anybody coming?
No.
We safe?
Yep.
All right, we in first. Go ahead and hammer it, brother. Hell yeah! Dude, it went to $6 grand on all three.
I'm already over 100.
am not an AOD guy, but that just changed the way this car drives, brother.
Oh yeah.
Tell me that's not different, bro.
Oh yeah. You can feel it.
Yeah, all right, just let them go. All right, so Cousin Paul's gonna do the shuffle. He's gonna come down in the first, all the way down.
Damn.
Okay, hammer it down. Shift. Back to first. Shift.
Gotta take it safe.
That'll do it.
That's it.
Guys, so I think that's about all I got for you today. We ended up fixing the Smurf Fox, but simply by making a couple of adjustments, changed everything. And wasn't actually the TV cable this time, although the TV cable was an issue, and it was already adjusted all the way out. We had a cable issue, we had a clippy issue, and the shifter bracket was actually, it wasn't rotted out, it just was bent. Didn't make any sense. But I noticed that it wasn't pulling back in the first, and it needed that little extra nudge, so we fixed the clip, put another new clip on there, which made the cable a little bit tighter on the shifter base. And then we actually drilled a screw through the base, which I showed you earlier, and it made a difference in the world. Now it's stable, it'll shift into every gear like Cousin Paul wants it to. And guess what? I bet you he busts off at least a half a second faster at the track in the same exact car that he already had, just by making it work for him. Guys, if you enjoy the channel, if you enjoy me and Cousin Paul, you know, getting out there having a little bit of fun in these Fox bodies, hit that like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up for the video. Check out that join button, check out that thanks button if you want to donate to the channel. But outside of that, we'll just appreciate you watching the channel. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.